Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
It's back. The green train is running.
Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, usually joined by... Oh, wait. Where'd he go? I don't know where Fish Tank is. Running late. I guess he saves the best for last. So thought I'd just start this off while we wait for him to come on in. I already see some people in the comments. We got Aladino, Steve Malloy, who will be on just after us. Or after me on Fins Talk today. He'll be on for Real Talk Rants, discussing the latest on the Miami Dolphins and Stephen Ross's new business ventures. Could he get more involved with the Miami Dolphins? And also could have looked at some projected stats for the Dolphins. I do need to finish that up. I'm almost done, Steve, with those graphics for you. But everyone, thank you all for tuning in. Where is Evan? He is around. He's always around. Whether he's hovering in the background, doing family stuff, he's usually watching. So he's probably looking at you right now, talking about him. And I don't doubt he will pop in just a moment. But everyone who's watching right now, if you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate you all watching. If you're watching anywhere else but YouTube, hop on over. Get involved in the comments there. You can get yourself involved via X as well. But come over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. We are growing and we are excited. I got a busy weekend ahead for me today. This is my first show, Talking Dolphins, at 12:30, should be 12:30. Steve Malloy will pop on and he will talk more Dolphins. Then tonight, 8 o'clock, we got No Holds Barred with Josh Kimmel. And then tomorrow, got two shows as well. We got another No Holds Barred show. I'm interviewing the big red Russian, the real Drago, interviewing him, indie wrestler, big dude. Excited to have him on. I'll interview him tomorrow morning at 11. And then, of course, we got East 10th Street Boys on tomorrow night. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button, turn on your notifications button, and join in. All right. So not a lot of major news for the Miami Dolphins this week. Obviously, the Stephen Ross just relocating from New York to South Florida permanently. Steve Malloy will get more into that and what that could mean for the Miami Dolphins and possibly the front office operations. How involved could Stephen Ross get? We'll get into that. But what I wanted to discuss today, like I said, Steve will discuss later his projections on the Dolphins' stats, offense. It's going to be an exciting show. I love what I was seeing yesterday. I think you guys will as well. 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, it's 2 p.m. Eastern now. So we'll have to update that. But I'm excited. But that will give me more time, Steve, to finish those up. So let me see here. I'll update that. 2:30 Eastern. All right. So there you go. 2:30 Eastern. You got Steve Malloy popping on for Real Talk Rants. He'll, again, talk about projections for next season and also Stephen Ross. Let me update that 2:30 Eastern. So that's 1:30 me and Steve's time, both Central Time. I'm in Tennessee and Steve's in Texas. And the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend is here. You know, he's the man of the hour, the man of the power. Better late than never. There he is. What's up, big guy?
Hey, I'm sorry, man. I was out all night partying with my wife, so
There.
we were out in Tampa till I don't know 6 o'clock this morning.
Damn. Oh
So
man. All right.
We partied quite a bit.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, you deserve it after your week. You've had a good week, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I won. I went to Tampa Bay Hard Rock, and it's the most I've ever won. I went on this Buffalo train game. You know, I don't remember what it's called, but luxury line, Buffalo luxury line, and I was spending it like $25. I got up about $300, and I said, "Well, let me take some $25 spins." So I took 6 spins. On the 6th spin, I hit the bonus, and then I won $27,700.
There you go. We hear Kelly in the background. I'm sure Kelly's had a good week. My mother's watching, and my mom says, "Hi, Kelly." Look, there you go. Kelly got some shout outs there. There you
go. She's waving.
There you go. Finstanza's in the house. They were asking for you, Finstanza. Steve and Aladino were wondering where you were. I told them, hey, he's always around. Trust me. He may not have his face out there, but he's around. Say his name.
I'm around. I might be passed out somewhere, but I'm around.
Fish tank for sure. Evan is like Joe Hendry. You say his name and he will appear. But oh man, so awesome week for Fish Tank. I was just getting into it, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
What I want to talk, there's not been a lot of noise this week in regards of the Dolphins. Obviously, we're still waiting on the Dolphins to resolve the contract situation with Tua Tagovailoa. And I'm sure once that goes down, we will address it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
you do.
I need to interrupt you because I was right about Tua signing his contract. Everybody said, "Oh, he's going to sign it," and I was like, "Slow down."
Yeah, getting there. I need one for sure, Steve. I would love to have myself a coffee cabano, Cuban coffee. I would love that. But yes, Hank needs that for sure. He needs to get some espresso in him, get him fired up.
No.
But it is getting close to that again. As I've said, if Miami may not get that deal done before the start of the season, I could see Tua holding out. Obviously, if training camp, possibly at the start of the season, especially with his history of injuries and stuff, he would not probably want to risk that playing on a possible injury and then not getting the money he thinks he deserves and more likely does deserve. But anyway, we move on. We've just discussed that in the past. We wait for what happens. If we start the season with no contract, we'll talk more about that. But today I wanted to talk about the training camp, upcoming training camp for the Miami Dolphins, some position battles. We'll kind of run through these, Fish Tank, and we'll get everybody else's comments. I love that Steve's hitting the house. We got Finstanza, Aladino, my mother's there. We get a lot of people's opinion that, and everyone watching right now, wherever you're watching, we appreciate you. We'll start off with the quarterbacks. Okay. And what position battle am I talking about with the quarterbacks? We know who our starter is as long as he has his deal, I assume. Tua's QB1. There's no doubt about that. We have no problem, whatever. Don't have to talk about that. Unless, of course, you don't sign that extension. It's QB2, QB3. All right. Right now, Miami has Mike White and Skylar Thompson.
Oh, boy.
Look. Talk about it. Tua. I'm talking about QB2. We need a QB2.
No, that's Hawk Tua.
Hawk Tua. Oh, God. Hawk Tua. We got to, I'm not very comfortable with our backup quarterback situation, especially with the contract situation now with Tua Tagovailoa. And so, but if we are stuck with Mike White and Skylar Thompson as our QB2, QB3, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Skylar is in his third year in this system. Mike White in his second year. Mike White did beat out Skylar for QB2 last season. But when he did come out in the field, Fish Tank, me and Fitzstanzer watched him, live. You did as well. When he did have chances of opportunity to come out and show something, he didn't show anything. He, threw an interception here and there. Did not give you any confidence whatsoever that if heaven forbid Tua did go down, this is your guy who could win you a couple of games. Either way, it's Mike White versus Skylar Thompson. How do you think this plays out in training camp? Who comes out of this QB2, QB3 in your opinion? And who would you like to be the quarterback to for the Miami Dolphins?
Wow, that's a tough one, Bobby. I'm not a Mike White guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a Mike White guy. I support him because he's on our team. As always, any player that's on our team, I support. Mike White is who the Dolphins think can back him up, who can back up Tua if he's going to be out. That's why they have him. For me, that's such a tough one, Bobby. I mean, they both have good and bad attributes for the team. I think Mike White is a little more accurate than Skylar is. And I think that accuracy would be why I would put Mike White before Skylar Thompson. And that would be the only reason.
Yeah, I think Steve hit the nail on the head. I think you said this just as well. More than likely that front office, quote unquote, politics say Mike White over Skylar. Finn's faithful pod, George in the house, just dropped a new show. He should start streaming soon. I'm excited about to see his product start coming out on streams. But he's currently podcast, guys. Great show over there. Appreciate George tuning in. He says neither. I wish. I agree. I would say neither as well as QB2. Get me someone else. We talked about him last week. Say his name and he will appear. I would hope. It's Ryan Tannehill who's still there. I think that would be awesome for QB2.
Oh, that would be great. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, but I think Mike White is in line to win that spot. However, I will say again, Mike White's had many years, more years than Skylar. Skylar's on his third season.
Wait a minute, back up. Don't try to get out of that. Back up a minute. Your wife has had many years. Is that what you said?
Mike White.
Mike White. Oh, I thought you said my wife. I was like, what?
No.
That's why I said back it up a minute.
Kelly, get him some coffee. He's still sleeping, Kelly. Get him some coffee. Give him something.
She said that's what she thought she heard too.
You need coffee too.
We both do, but I don't drink it.
But what I'm saying is maybe Skylar in that third season under this system makes a jump to solidify himself as that quarterback too. He does have playoff experience. Again, the obvious take here is Mike White. Yeah. But, I'm hoping Skylar makes a jump here because even though I don't feel good about either of them being QB2 right now at this present time, I would hope after preseason we're going, holy crap, Skylar's made a jump. We got our quarterback too. We feel comfortable,
Yeah.
So, but I agree with this right here. Great thing. I don't get why this team never drafts a quarterback every year. They should. I am all about that. I don't, and that's not to say, oh, we got to take over for Tua. No, that is for quarterback too. And, whether that's in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round, you go get a guy until you have a good quarterback room. John in the house. John says, I honestly believe that if Tua gets hurt and misses time, they will go outside the organization to find a vet to start. I would hope so, right? I mean, again, I don't feel comfortable with either one of these guys right now. However, John, and thank you for watching, man. Love the jersey too in your picture. I would say that Miami, I don't think that's their forte. I think Mike McDaniel feels good about Mike White and Skyler and what he could do with them. This is not like Adam Gase, who went out and got Jay Cutler for $10 million for this handful of games. I don't see Mike McDaniel doing that. Unless maybe a guy from his system is available, and I don't know who would be at that time. But I would be okay with that. Again, the vet outside the system right now, who I think would be a great backup in a win now type of guy. Again, me and Hank have talked about him. That's our former Dolphins quarterback, who was the Titans quarterback recently, is Ryan Tannehill, who's there. But so I think we all agree Mike White is the guy, right? We all believe that is more likely the case by default right now, at least.
By default, because they paid him.
That's right. Running backs: Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, and Chris Brooks. Look, I feel really good about the top three of those guys. I'm talking about Achane, Mostert, and the rookie as safe bets to make the roster, Fish Tank. In regards of Savon Ahmed, Jeff Wilson, Chris Brooks, that's where it gets a little dicey. Do you think Miami holds on to 4 running backs to start the season? And if so, who's that running back for? We'll start with that and before we move on to the next one about the running backs.
Ooh, that's a good question, Bobby. Well, you got some tough ones today, man. You got some tough ones today. It's got to be Brooks. It's got to be Brooks. I mean, if we're going to have 4, I think. I truly believe we'll have 4. And for me, it's Brooks. I mean, but you have somewhat of proven commodities in your other 2 backs over Brooks. So that's what makes this 4th one so difficult, is because you've seen Wilson play, you've seen Ahmed play. They play pretty good. They're not playing horrible. But just because he's still younger and everything else, I'd say Brooks.
There you go. Fitzstans is saying wrong. They are going to carry 5 running backs. He says 5 running backs plus Ingold, and they will carry 2 tight ends. Well, that's great news, Fitzstans. We'll put your 2 running backs in there, addition to the other 3 that we've discussed. I would say, look, obviously Jeff Wilson being the veteran, who is obviously, he knows the system. It may make sense to say he should be the 4th back, but it also would make the sense to say he's probably the odd man out, being with the most money.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, and Savon Ahmed survives staying on the roster. I can't not be surprised if Ahmed remains on this roster. Chris Brooks, undrafted free agent. We'll see how he does in preseason. I could see sarcasm artist courtesy of El. There you go. I could see Chris Brooks starting possibly on the practice squad. I think this could be between Jeff Wilson and Savon Ahmed for that 4th back. Yeah, I do. And Chris, I mean, don't get me wrong. Chris Brooks, he did get some time in the regular season, showed some flash. I think preseason will do a lot for him. If he could come in and show out in preseason against some better defensive guys, yeah, he could get that 4th, maybe 5th, going by Fitzstanz's standards or Fitzstanz's beliefs, but he could get that role. But I think that Jeff Wilson, obviously he's a favorite of McDaniel. They bring him back. Savon Ahmed keeps surviving. Maybe Ahmed, if it's 5 running backs, maybe Ahmed is the odd man out, and then you carry Chris Brooks. But if it's 4 running backs, I gotta think that somehow, some way, Jeff Wilson survives this and remains on the Miami Dolphins roster. Now, here the secondary question might be a little more easier for you, and I apologize that I'm testing you this for you morning. It's still morning for me. It's afternoon for you. I'm pushing you today. Man,
I got 3 hours of sleep, Bobby.
Let's keep it rolling. We're gonna get some good answers here. Do you believe Devon Achane could push Raheem Mostert for the top running back in training camp. Do you think we could possibly see H& start at HB1 by game 1 of the regular season, or you think Raheem Mostert would start game 1?
There ain't no way in hell he's starting game 1. Gonna be Raheem.
Raheem Mostert starts HB1?
Definitely.
How do I get fed when I'm doing a podcast? Yeah, that's right. Fish Tank living the life right now.
Hey, you get a wife that partied with you all night, and then she'll give you some food.
That's right. I think, first of all, in Miami's offense, I don't think it matters if you're HB1 or HB2 or possibly now HB3. I think each and every one of them are probably going to get a lot of opportunities to get the ball and be part of the passing game as well. I think Fish Tank's absolutely right. I think Raheem Mostert will more than likely start as our lead back to start the season. I do believe that does not mean H&N is going to have less reps than Raheem Mostert. I think they could see the field at the same time. I think you're going to see Devon H&N out wide out. You're going to see Raheem Mostert the same situation. I'm really excited, as you are, Fish Tank. I know that, for Jalen Wright and what he could do for this Miami Dolphins football team. Finn Stanza says Mostert will be HB3 by mid-season. Again, I just don't see that as a knock. I think, maybe in total number of reps or whatever, but these guys are going to have a lot of opportunities. Mostert, Steve agrees. He will be the HB1 until he's not. And if it does not matter who his HB1 is, McMorrin will forget they are even there. He is coming in hot for McDaniel this morning. Wide receivers, no doubt. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham, they're locks. We know that. Close to save probably would be Braxton Barrios, who resigned on the bubble. And, and this is, obviously these two guys, first off, I think it was Malik. I just saw a recent video of Malik Washington. That dude is built like a train, but he looked great, cutting and catching. I'm so excited about seeing the Washington guys, but obviously being late round rookies, you put them there. Easy E, veteran River Craycraft, Braylon Sanders, Daquan Barton, Anthony Schwartz. Those three guys at the end there seem to be long shots to make the roster. Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say the question I have here, but you could answer it as you want. That makes sense for you. How many wide receivers do you think Miami can keep on this roster? Will keep on this roster, and who do you think makes it? I think we both agree, Tyreek, Waddle, and OBJ, they're safe. They're locks.
Yeah.
We got Braxton Barrios, Easy E, Craycraft. Those are veterans. Easy E, obviously, we drafted a couple years ago, hasn't really done much. But we are both very excited about the Washington brothers. How many receivers do you think we keep? And again, out of those other guys, besides the top three, who makes the opening day roster?
I think there's going to be 5.
Okay.
I think there's going to be 5. And it's going to come down to who they think can return the ball the best. That's who they might pull out as far as kickoffs or something like that. That's why I think Braxton Barrios might be one of the ones that they keep. Sorry, my kitty cat came in.
You're good. You got his cone off, or is that
Yeah, cone's off.
There you go. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. 2 p.m. Okay. Sorry. I'll update that.
But I think Easy E's had his chances. River Craycraft, they already know what he's got. Braylon Sanders, Burton, Schwartz, but I would say they're going to keep one of the Washington brothers and put the other one on the practice squad.
I think you're about right. And again, when it comes, if it's 5 wideouts, I'm waiting for Evan to put how many he thinks they're going to keep, because he thinks we're going to keep 5 backs. So I wonder how many wide receivers he thinks we're going to keep. But if we get Braxton Barrios, I think he's close to safe. I think Steve's not wrong. And I think Malik could push Braxton, but I think it's more of he might push River Craycraft more. I think it'll be between those two guys.
I think he might push Braxton, and because that's those returns that I was telling you about.
Yeah. Braxton Barrios, Malik and Taj Washington, Easy Craycraft. Those are the more likely guys that could have a spot on this roster. 5 wide receivers. 5 wide receivers for Finstanza. I told you, even when he's not around, you know he's listening. Again, if it's 5, again, OBJ, Tyreek, Wild 3, Braxton 4, Malik 5. And again, I know we say, what's up, dude? Just looking at what we see. Now, again, we still got to get through training camp. We still got to get through preseason to see what these rookies can do. Again, Taj Washington, don't sleep on him. He was maybe the number 1, number 2 receiver for Caleb Williams in USC, the number 1 quarterback off the board in the draft. I'm excited about seeing both of these guys in the preseason. Can Easy E show anything to earn a spot on this roster? Craycraft obviously resigned. He has a foot in on the door. He knows this offense. He knows this coach. He knows this quarterback. Yep. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Again, Anthony Swartz, Barton, and Sanders, I think they're camp bodies. I think we see a couple of them on the practice squad. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's going to be very interesting to see Malik, Taj, Easy, and Craycraft, and possibly Barrios battling for the 4th spot or possibly 5. I don't know if anybody could push OBJ for wide receiver 3. He's wide receiver 3. It's those other 2 possibly spots or 4 spots that will work. Sorry, getting my car service for my trek to Florida. I need a loan, Pops. Are you driving down, Finstanza? Are you driving down from Canada? Alex, my co-host for East 10 Street Boys, he was just in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and he saw Canada from across the bay. He sent me a picture. I think I could see Evan waving from the other side of the river there, which is pretty cool. Moving to tight ends. This is to be interesting. Jonnu Smith, obviously, more than likely, is going to be your starting tight end, right? There's no doubt, right? I can't argue that at all. He's a lock to make the team. Durham Smythe, possibly as well. Then you got the 2 there. You got Julian Hill, Jody Fortson. They're battling possibly for 3. Tanner Connor and Hayden Rushi could be on the outside looking in. I know Finstanza said we're going to keep 2 tight ends. I am very, very intrigued by Jody Fortson.
Yeah.
Even Julian Hill, but I'm very intrigued by Jody Fortson and what he can do for this Miami Dolphins offense. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the preseason when he gets the opportunities, and what he could do for this offense. I understand the argument, Tua doesn't throw to tight ends. This offense doesn't focus on tight ends. They have shown, McDaniel and Tua both, this team, that when it doesn't do something one year and they say they're going to focus on it the next year, they do it. Mike McDaniel has said he's going to focus that the tight end is to be more of a focal point. They've shown that now by going out and getting a veteran tight end like Jonnu Smith. So, yeah, maybe 2 tight ends. Then it becomes, can anybody battle Durham Smythe and beat out Durham Smythe for what tight end 2? I think it could be 3 tight ends. But, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
Jonnu Smith, Durham Smythe seem to be locks. Does that sound about right? And if Miami rolls with 3, okay. And if Miami rolls with about 3 tight ends, which I think they will, who's that 3rd tight end do you think could possibly make the roster?
Well, I like the couple that you had mentioned. That's Hill and Fortson.
Yes.
I think either one of those 2 could step up and be that number 3. That's who I like on the roster right now.
Jonnu Smith did rip Buffalo, a pretty damn good one. Credit to, I believe it was the Dive Pod, the Dive Podcast, right? The Dive Bar Podcast with Ghost of Adam Gase, Bobby Schaus, and Joe Robbie. They've been killing it lately. Great. If you guys have not tuned in, which I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, go check out their channel. They've had Tyreek Hill on, Jonnu Smith, Blake Ferguson, Alec Ingold. They've had a great show. So, yeah, and that is catching waves there about what Jonnu Smith had said. Alec Ingold counts as a tight end. Okay. Let's see here. If McMorrin had a choice, he would carry no running backs and a tight end and play Madden. There he goes. He's keep going after McDaniel. But yeah, Fish Tank, I think, between Jody Fortson and Julian Hill, and again, Jody Fortson, who I believe was injured last year, but showed promise when playing with Pat Mahomes, showed some good flashes. So it's going to be interesting to see. And hopefully, with Miami focusing a little more on tight ends, we might see more out of these guys. Offensive line. This is the fun one.
No, this isn't the fun one.
It is fun.
This is the tough one.
Karen Armstead, Austin Jackson, Aaron Brewer, Kendall Lamb, Isaiah Wynn, and Eichenberg. They are the projected starters and seem safe as locks, in my opinion, just because of lack of resources. Robert Jones, Patrick Paul, Jack Driscoll seem safe to make it as well to serve as possible backup rotational players. Bubble players, Keon Smith, Lester Cotton, Ryan Hayes, possibly practice squad for him. Byron Matos, I'm intrigued by. Big dude, undrafted free agent. Others that seem to be camp bodies are Matthew Jones, Andrew Meyer, Chasen Hines, and Ireland Brown. So what position battles? I think we have an idea of who our top 5 offensive linemen are, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
What on this offensive line, when training camp starts, preseason starts, what position battles will you be paying attention to on the offensive line? And is there anybody on this roster who could push Eichenberg at right guard?
Yes, and yes. First part of it is I don't trust Eichenberg, right? I'm not going to lie. I don't trust Eichenberg at right guard. However, they like him there. I think as far as backup goes, you're going to – whoever the backup is for right guard, I'm not sure who's filling that billet right now. And whether it's Keon Smith or who it is. Do you know who it is?
For the backup guard?
For the right guard. I don't know who it is yet.
I think Eichenberg is the projected starter.
Yeah.
For right guard. For a backup, I think Jack Driscoll could be that. Maybe Robert Jones.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. So, I guess Jack Driscoll would be the next man up, right?
Possibly.
So I would say Jack Driscoll, but I don't know. Keon Smith might get in there somewhat at right guard. I don't know why I keep thinking that, but I don't know.
I'll tell you. Look, obviously, right guard.
Tell me.
Well, I'll say this. Okay, I obviously am concerned with right guard. I do believe that Eichenberg will start the season there. I'm hoping that somebody pushes him enough that we all feel confident that when he takes the job, we'll feel good about him. I'm talking about whoever does or can beat out Eichenberg. The one position battle that I'm really looking forward to, just because it's, to me, one of the biggest question marks, and I don't think it's being talked about enough, is the center position. Obviously, Aaron Brewer is more than likely, he's going to be the starter, right? There's no one else on this roster who could start over him. But to pretend he's not a question mark is overlooking the issue. Connor Williams was a top 5 center last season and the season before. We lost him. We didn't re-sign him, and he looks like he's going elsewhere because he doesn't want to play anything other but center. If Aaron Brewer is a question mark that we're not really sure of, who the hell's his backup?
Eichenberg.
We feel confident about that?
Yep.
No. I mean, do you feel confident Eichenberg coming in as your starting center? If Brewer goes down?
Yes.
You feel confident in him?
Yes. At center, I like him at center, yes.
Okay.
I think that's where he actually plays his best game is at center, but
fair enough.
Hey,
you know what? That's fair. I'll say this. I think that's fair. I'm not going to hate on that whatsoever or anything like that because everyone's a right to their opinion. And it's interesting. It's a great insight from you, Fish Tank. But I will say this. Just my opinion. Okay. I'm not comfortable at all at the center position. I'm dead ass nervous with it. I am like, whether, again, Eichenberg, that's not his natural position. If he is the back, which he's played center, right? When guys have gone down, he's gone in there. That's what people can hate on Eichenberg all they want. The fact of the matter is he's a versatile offensive lineman. He plays all the positions, and that's why he has a spot on this roster, and he keeps getting a starting spot, because he's your most valued, probably one of your valued pieces. But again, there's Aaron Brewer is your starter. There's no true center backup. That's a problem. Maybe there's an undrafted free agent I'm forgetting about here. But yeah, center is my concern. I am more concerned with our shrimp quarterback who cannot catch the snaps. Hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully he works on that. Again, I know everybody loved to blame Connor for that, but it became very obvious that was not a one-person issue there. That was two people, and again, there was a lot of times it was our quarterback who was messing up the snap. But there is Evan with the comedy for the show here. Defensive line. This is interesting. We've lost Christian Wilkins. Emmanuel Akbel is gone. The Dolphins have this defensive line edge rushers: Zach Sealer, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Calais Campbell, Shaq Barrett. They all seem to be locks for this roster. Benito Jones, Mo Camara, Tier Tart. They seem safe. On the bubble, Deshaun Hand, Jonathan Harris, Brandon Pilley. Long shots are Grayson Murphy, Leonard Payne, Isaiah Mack, and Mario Kendricks. I will say for the long shots. Well, let me do this first. Fish Tank. We know we're waiting on Bradley Chubb. We're going to see, does he start the season? Jalen Phillips. He really is like, with Bradley, we're like, okay, maybe he starts a little later in the season. Jalen, it looks like he's pushing to start the season. But who do you think starts the season as our starting pass rushers? And who starts next to Zach Sealer? Who would you put next to Zach Sealer for the Dolphins?
Wow. All right. Let's start with the obvious. Chop Robinson will be starting in place of Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb.
Okay.
I kind of think that's the direction we're going. Who's going to be next to Zach Sealer?
Zach Sealer will be our, in the defensive middle, right? And you got your edge rushers. And I think you're right. I think obviously Chop Robinson could have the inside lane to start at the opposite side of whoever's starting at the other side. And I think, maybe Jalen Phillips starts the season and we might see Chop Robinson in place for Bradley Chubb. Shaq Barrett, obviously, as a veteran pass rusher, could be in that obvious spot as well. Could be Shaq Barrett. If both guys are out, talking about Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, we could see Shaq Barrett and Chop Robinson possibly there.
You're right on the mark, Bobby.
Eric Rivera in the house says Benito Jones, Apila. That's interesting. Mark says, good morning, Evan. I see issues with offensive line depth, especially when Armstead and Wynn go down with injuries, as they always do. Let's see.
Pizza
I'm sorry,
for
Evan.
breakfast.
There you go. Evan, what did you say there? I'm sorry. Bobby, you have until October 28th to let me know if you're coming to the October 27th game. You're awesome, dude. So for me, again, I would say I think Fish Tank is absolutely correct. I think those are even Shaq Barrett, I think, has an inside line being the veteran in regards of edge rushers. Starting, I think Mo Kamara can sneak on, be a sneaky damn good player come preseason. But I think at the starting next to Zach Sealer is Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
You know, veteran, Pro Bowl player. I'm excited to see what he can do or what he's going to do for this defense. Obviously, he's familiar with Anthony Weaver. I'm excited about seeing. Again, I know we lost a lot, and I know Steve was going to hold me to this. And I'm not trying to be a homer or anything of this nature. And I think everyone knows me better than that. But that's okay if you think so. I
Bobby,
will say
you're not
that
a homer. You're a realistic guy.
Thank you, Fish Tank. So I love you, man. I appreciate you.
You realistically.
You're gonna say it, right? Yeah, go.
No,
yeah, I know. Yeah, you go there. Yeah. Keep eating your pizza, Fish Tank. I'm gonna say I know we lost a lot on this defense, but I feel really good about what we got on it. Calais Campbell was such an underrated signing late in the offseason, and I think he's going to have a big impact on this football team, on this defense. His veteran,
huge,
huge. Everything, his experience, all that. My next question:
we have a lot of young players, Bobby.
We do have a lot of young players, but we got, again, Zach Sealer. I expect him to have a big season. He had a good season last year. People forget, we got him on a very good deal. I'm excited about seeing what Jalen Phillips is going to do coming back. Same thing with Bradley Chubb. Both of those guys were red hot last year. Red hot. Two of the top edge rushers in the NFL. And their season got cut short.
Yeah.
It was a hot season. The defense was coming on. If Bobby is realistic, I'm the most positive fan out there. Oh, shut up, Evan.
Evan, be quiet.
But
nobody asked for your quarter's worth of information, all right?
I will again. Those guys. I'm excited about to see the chips on their shoulders when they come back, Jalen and Bradley. But Mo Kamara, Chop Robinson. Again, we know. But his stats, they weren't nothing in college. His play was better than what his stats showed. I'm excited about seeing what he could bring there. Mo Kamara obviously had monster stats. My next question was, from the bubble players and long shots, who do you think could sneak on this opening day roster, if there's any one of them? And I'm going to tell you, I'll just answer it right away for me. Grayson Murphy out of UCLA. I think he could find a way to sneak onto this roster, especially if Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are not starting the season. Grayson Murphy, I'm surprised, was an undrafted free agent. I think he should have been drafted. I love what I saw from him, and I think he's going to be a very good player. I don't want to say, not starting caliber, not like that right now. I don't want to jump the gun, but I think he's going to be a good player in the preseason. I think he's going to show off. I think people are going to like him. Is there anybody, Fish Tank, that you see on here, and you don't have to if you don't need to, or if you don't know? Is there anybody on the long shots or the bubble that you could say, hey, this guy could sneak onto this roster or be a good player to earn a spot enough?
No.
There you go.
No.
That's okay. That's all right.
Linebacker. All I have is a no.
It's all good. Is anyone concerned that Sealer without Wilkins beside him can thrive and play at that same level as 2023? Yes. No, I'm not concerned. And yes, I think he can thrive without Wilkins. It might be the other way around, Mark, my opinion, for Christian Wilkins. Obviously, he has a lot of good players there in that defense in Las Vegas, but I think Christian Wilkins may hurt a little more than Zach Sealer without Sealer on his side. I think Sealer with Calais Campbell, you're going to see equal to maybe possible better production, because Calais Campbell is a veteran, played this game a long time, and he'll know what to do to give Zach Sealer some time to make big plays. Good pick. Murphy is a baller. Absolutely, Eric. Love Grayson Murphy. So
sorry, I'm eating, Bobby.
Don't worry about that. You eat away, Fish Tank. Jordan Brooks, David Long on linebackers, they're locks. Duke Riley, Anthony Walker, Cameron Brown, Channing Tindall, Zeke Vanderbilt are on the very thin bubble. Duke Riley does seem close, though, to safe to get a roster, to keep a roster spot, especially with what he knows about this defense. He started some games last year. Fish Tank, who else do you think can make it on this linebacker unit?
Well, we don't know what's going on with Channing Tindall.
No, we don't.
I mean, he is like the biggest question mark out of all of those people. I like Duke Riley, Anthony Walker. I would have to say Duke Riley.
Yeah, Duke Riley for sure. I think Anthony Walker, Cameron Brown could sneak in. Again, great point with Channing Tindall. I know everybody, same thing with Easy. Oh, easy to do it this year. And hopefully so, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
I'd love it.
We'd all love it. We'd all would love it. But again, it's a what have you done for me lately? And so and when you look at these names, obviously Jordan Brooks and David Long, they're damn good players, and I'm excited about seeing what they can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, our edge rushers serve as linebackers, so that would be Jalen and Bradley and so forth. So that is not big much of a concern. However, when you go to you look at this specific unit, Duke Riley, serviceable player, could be a starter for you for a couple games, good backup. You go, then you jump into Anthony Walker, Cameron Brown, Channing Tindall, Zeke Vanderbilt, and you're like, damn, it's very thin back there. A little nervous. Daniel Meehan says, I only want to see Duke Riley playing special teams. Hammer time in the house. Fins up, brother. So yeah, I think you and I are on that point. Corners, no debate. Who our QB or who our quarterback, our corner is number one. It's Jalen Ramsey. QB2 or CB2 is more than likely Kendall Fuller. They're both locks to make the roster, at least in my opinion. Cam Smith is safe as well, and he's obviously more than likely going to see some playing time this season. Can he challenge Fuller? Can he challenge Fuller for corner 2? Kader Kohu is likely safe. Theron Neal, Ethan Bonner, Nick Needham are on the bubble. Practice squad possibilities are Storm Duck, Isaiah Johnson, and Jason Matriera. Who do you think, Fish Tank, wins that corner 3 spot?
Duck. Storm Duck. Just the name. I got to root for Storm Duck. I'm sorry. I got to be on the edge of, I just feel like I like that name and I want him to do good. And that's where I'm at. I want to see Storm Duck on this team floating around and making some plays.
Yeah, first off, I'd be shocked if Kader Kohu, I think, could challenge Cam Smith for the third spot in the corner room. But if you're talking about a player who could sneak onto this in the secondary and possibly that name alone, Storm Duck, right? But it's not just his name; it's his play. Miami Heat Zone, thank you for watching. How can I get you guys on Miami Heat Show? I know you've been on East Century Boys a couple times. You asked that question. I don't know if you saw my response, but again, reach out on Twitter at Bobby Finstock on my DMs, or email at finstalknetwork@outlook.com, and we could figure that out.
Figure what out?
Miami Heat Zone asking about me and Alex going on his Heat Show basketball. So he's reached out a couple times, and I appreciate him watching live right now. So just we would love to connect, man. Do that, and vice versa. Right on. Bobby and Fish Tank, question from Mark: with the Dolphins having significant draft capital in 2025 and Greer's spotty draft history, would you bring in someone to take over player personnel and drafting while Greer does the cap? Okay, so
there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah. Again, I would say, Mark, first off, great question, Mark, and I appreciate you asking it.
Excellent question.
Now that Greer is still here, and we got to see how this year plays out.
Yeah.
It's tougher to answer that. But let's say, I would say either before this offseason or let's say after. Let's say God forbid the Dolphins are one and done in the playoffs, or they just missed the playoffs. Then my answer would be this: yes, I would. I don't know if Greer would stay back and do the cap. If he would, I think he would want to go try to find somewhere else to do something. I don't know about that, but would I bring in someone else to take over player personnel and drafting in that situation? If that was to happen, yes, I would. At this time, if let's say Miami has a consistently good year, there's no drop off at the end, and they win a playoff game. I want to see them in more than one, but I would love to see just one at least. But if they can win at least a playoff game, then I would leave it as is. I know I would not take away Greer's responsibilities at that point, or whatever. It's only if, again, the situation ends the same as it did the past 2 seasons. What do you think, Fishank? Fair? Unfair?
Kinda. I think you're right. We're going to have to win at least 2 playoff games for Greer to stay, in my opinion. I don't think one will keep him anymore. I think that Mr. Ross is going to clean house if he doesn't see what he wants to see this year out of Tua and company, out of the head coach, out of Greer to have reliable backups in place. I don't know. Chris Greer, this season has to be a spectacular season, in my opinion, for him to keep his job. So
there you go.
And everywhere you go, there you are.
That's right. All right. Moving on. Going to the safety position there. Javon Holland, Jordan Poyer seem to be locks. Marcus May could be as well. You got the 3 others: Elijah Campbell, Justin Colbert, and rookie Patrick McMorris on the bubble. Do they keep 4 safeties? Possibly. I think the 3 safeties are safe. Fish tank, though, just looking at this safeties unit, what do you think of them? Are you comfortable with this unit?
I'm a little more comfortable with this unit than I was before we started out. We have some good players at safety. Let me pull this up real quick because you hit me with a pretty big list. Fuller's number 2. Cater Kohu, like you said, is likely safe. So, Nick Needham, I mean, I don't know how he does it, but he's always in the running to be part of it for the quarterbacks. So let's see. Javon Holland and Porter, though, are locks. Marcus May. Oh, I like the rookie Patrick McMorris. But as far as our starters go, Javon Holland and Poyer, they're good to go. Marcus May, Elijah Campbell. Yeah, I don't like our depth so much, Bobby. I don't like our depth so much on safeties. I don't feel like we've done just quite enough, but I think there's enough to hold us together.
That's a good point. I will say, and I was just remembering this as we were talking, Fishing, because the secondary as a whole kind of makes up for the depth of that situation. Again, Marcus May, Jordan Poyer, Javon Holland, damn good veteran players. Obviously, Javon Holland, damn good young player. I'm excited to see what Jordan Poyer and Marcus May could do for that unit. Again, I don't feel good about the guys behind them. However, don't sleep on a player like a Nick Needham playing at safety as well at some points during the season, which again, I would love that. That could save Nick Needham on this roster, which can earn him a spot, is that versatility playing either the nickel, even a starting corner, and possibly a rotational safety. Fish tank question for you.
I like Nick Needham is because, and that's why I was looking over the cornerbacks. And Nick Needham is, he's versatile, Bobby. I mean, he's not the best player on the field, but guess what? He's a consistent player that we can turn to every time we need somebody. So I like him.
A question for you, Fish Tank, from
Yes, sir.
Mark. He says, with the last 6 games, 4 on the road in cold weather, I feel the first 2 home games against Jacksonville Bills are must win. What are your thoughts in light of high chances Phillips and Chubbs are out?
Ooh. Well, I think Chubb's going to be out. I don't think Chubb's going to start the season. So Phillips is a coin tosser, to be honest with you, for me, Mark. And like you said, with the last 6 games, 4 on the road, cold weather, I think that Miami's going to come out the gates and knock the snot out of Jacksonville and Buffalo in the beginning of the year. I mean, when we picked our games and all that, that's who I picked. But I see us dropping 4 of those 6.
Ooh, there you go.
And it's
72
not
undefeated.
a late season. Here's the whole thing, though.
Go ahead,
Bobby.
Fish Tank.
It's not a late season crash. It's not going to be. It's just our hardest games are at the end of the season this year. And I'm really hoping that I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I know for sure in my bones, I feel like they're going to drop 3 for sure.
There you go. That's the end of the season. The for 72 undefeated, first off, as always, sir, thank you for watching. The franchise tag cost on Holland. The franchise tag for safety, for this season, we would see probably next year is might go up or down, but the safety was $13.8 million.
Wow, I was way off. I was thinking 10.
Yeah, that's the franchise tag for a safety. For a quarterback, because excuse me. Wait, 17 million. I apologize. That was transition tag. Franchise tag for a safety is 17.1 million.
Wow.
For quarterback, because some people have said, the Dolphins could not sign to it and franchise tag them, and The franchise tag for a quarterback is $38.3 million. Your 10 Fish Tank would be running back. That's about 11.9. So about 12 million. That's as close as you can get to 10 would be the running back position. Yeah. Let's see here. Join me on the bandwagon. Bandwagon's in the shop. Had to come out. I think it's in the scrapyard. What are you talking about? No,
what's he talking about?
Bobby, what do you think of ex-Bronco Justin Simmons? Is not a Dolphin considering him? I'm surprised Miami did not sign him over Jordan Poyer. I know a lot of people liked Jordan Poyer, but I thought Justin Simmons made a lot more sense. It's obvious Miami wanted to go with 3 safeties when they lost Deshaun Elliott after signing Jordan Poyer. They wanted to bring back Elliott. But bringing in Marcus May kind of, I think, closes the door on that. But it did surprise me. I thought Justin Simmons would have been an obvious fit, but you got to trust, I guess, Anthony Weaver in that type of situation, Mark. Daniel doesn't feel good about Poyer. He said the last 2 years has been a steady decline. True. I mean, that's why he's not in Buffalo. But I would have to say, Daniel, I'm about to rip. About to be ripped by. Yeah, I know. Mr. Positivity. I know. We should all be proud of Greer for his shrewd negotiating skills. Greer has had a very strong, I think, off-season for what he's been able to do. The draft, again, without seeing the players on the field yet, I feel really good about this draft. It was the first draft that I did not come out of it trying to convince myself that the players were good. I think that's why everybody has high hopes for Channing Tindall and Eazy-E. We all talked ourselves into them being good because they were our only draft picks, really, or our first draft picks. But this offseason, going into it in the type of cap situation that Miami was in, to come out of it with the players that you have, obviously we lost some good ones, but to come out of it, Kendall Fuller, Calais Campbell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I feel really good about what Chris Greer has done this offseason. In regards of Tua, if that's what we're discussing here, Finstanza, that could, we're going to wait and see. He's obviously smart. I've heard it's the guaranteed money, which I think we've all said that's the kicker for all of us. He could be paid all he wants, or they could pay him all they want for the year. If it's 55 million, whatever, it's a guaranteed money. And I think that's the hang up. We will see what happens by the start of the season. Because we all should be proud of his shrewd negotiating skills. I don't care what the skills are. Show me the final product. You can be really good at putting something together, but if it looks like crap by the time it's done, you could look like you could do your job really well. But if it looks like crap by the time you're done, it doesn't matter. So if we could say, oh, he's doing great, these negotiating skills, and then Tua's paid, 275 million guaranteed or whatever the hell, and we're all going, whoa, what's that contract? Is it going to matter? Is the job finished, Finstanza? Is it finished? No. So what are you talking about? So that's what I got to say. Let me go ahead and move along here. Cheetah thinks Tua should get paid, as he should. Tyreek Hill believes he should. I think we all think Tua. I mean, most of us think Tua should be paid. It's just the amount being paid. There's no one right now available. And my thing is, if you don't pay Tua and he holds out, the season's lost. There's no one on this. I don't care if Mike White or Skylar Thompson at quarterback. You're not winning enough games to be a playoff team at all. I don't care how much talent you have. That's all I got to say. Simmons and Gilmore.
All you got to say about that?
That's all I got to say.
That's all you got to say about that.
Let's see. Well, that's a no for Holland and maybe on Tua. 38 million is not bad. It's if Tua will play on that, but 38 million is not bad. 72 undefeated. You're absolutely right. That is definitely a maybe. Mark, another question. Don't like the schedule as it's laid out. Tough first 3 games, front loaded with home games, with pass rush potentially limited, and then week 5 bye and road loaded in all 6 games. We talked about that, Mark, a little while back on the season. Fish Tank had 11, right? Fish Tank. I don't want to say it wrong. 11-6, and I was 12-5 on the season.
Yes,
that's where we are on that. Mr. Grant, I love our new head coach, Mr. Weaver. Oh yeah, you're so full of crap. You're so full of crap. You're really, man, he's back in full swing, boy. I tell you, he's giggling his ass off there in Canada. That he's talking about, that was him, guys. That wasn't me. We watched the Panthers game together in Hard Rock, and we were down 14-0, and this dude was ready to leave. This dude was, he was so pissed. He was, Bob, I said, dude, can we just wait and watch the game? Can it finish? Can we at least get to the mid? And of course, what happened? Miami won. It was fun though. Job is never finished. Yeah, that's right. No one feels sorry. I agree with you on that. I don't feel sorry for millionaires. I don't.
No, right. I don't feel sorry for millionaires that play sports and get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. I think they're fine. I mean, come on.
Evan says he's 2-15 on the season, Fish Tank. That's his prediction. 2-15.
2-15, huh?
There you go.
He is
so
full
positive. Swing today. I know. He is full swing. I'm excited to go to Amici's in a few weeks. Finstanza. You hear that?
Hey, we can go to Amici's.
Evan, maybe on your way down from Canada, you stop in Tennessee, man. Come see me, bro. What's up? Harrison did it.
No, he needs to stop in Orlando.
Tennessee's before Orlando. The hell? He could stop to see me before he sees you.
Tennessee's way the hell out of the way.
Harrison used to do it all the time. Stop. Don't mess up my thing, man. Quiet. Ruining stuff. What's up, Anthony? No. And again, going back to 72 undefeated, it's not. I'm not. No, no one should feel sorry for 23 million or nothing like that. What I'm saying is, though, Tua, he is definitely within that ballpark of Jared Goff. I mean, what are we talking about? I was watching. I just started watching Hard Knocks offseason with the Giants, which again, I love the Hard Knocks show. And And I love that. I think I'm very excited for this offseason show because I love hearing them talk about. We all know how great Saquon Barkley is, Fish Tank, and obviously he's no longer with the Giants. But they were talking about like, hey, obviously he's still very good, but the money doesn't make sense. Who's going to pay a running back? That they're having these conversations. These conversations are live, and I'm like this on the TV. I just love the front office stuff, guys. I mean, you would wish that Miami would be involved in that. Chris Greer would be front and center, which would be awesome. But they have their own little database with the show. If you haven't seen that yet, you got to tune in. I'm on the second episode now, but still, I loved it. Most worrisome game that you guys think we're going to dominate, but end up losing it. I don't have that in front of me right now, Anthony. We were talking about that a couple weeks back. What's the most worrisome game that you think we're going to dominate but end up losing in? Wow. You're talking about an upset? Is that what you're talking about? Kind of like that Tennessee Titan games from last year that Fish Tank was talking about before everybody else? Is that, because Fish Tank was on it before everybody for that game where he had said that game scared him the most. Not the exact wording, he's right here, but paraphrasing, and he was right. The Dolphins lost that game. We should have won that game, and they came out. It looked like they were going to win, and then they lost it. So let's see.
The Green Bay Packers.
Do you think we should dominate that game?
I think we should be dominating that game, and we will lose it.
The Green Bay Packers are a good team. I can't.
We're better.
We'll see. There's two games here that I look at and I go, I could see that. There's actually three.
Another one. Yeah, I can almost get three. I would say the Browns and possibly San Fran. Those are my three.
So again, I think that what he's asking is a team that we should be able to dominate.
Knock the snot out of.
No, that we should knock the snot. Yeah, the team that we should knock the snot out of, but they actually beat us in the end, like the Titans. I was going to say the teams that I'd say three teams here:
Seahawks,
Seattle, Indianapolis, and Arizona. Those are the three teams that I would say, hey, these should be wins. I think the Colts is a team where I'm like, I think we could dominate them. Cardinals as well. Cardinals, but they might be sneaky enough to beat us if those are the three teams. Daniel says Seattle as well. Let's see. Hector in the house. Hector says better prepare good because the Jets are coming. There's Jets fan in the house. We got a Jets fan here. What's up, Hector? Thank you for watching.
Those fans from Jersey, what do they know?
Oh, look, he's going to put it in there. Were you the fan? And I don't hate on that guy. I mean, I can understand loving on your team, but Hector, were you the fan who was crying to Aaron Rodgers? I just want to win a Super Bowl. Were you that guy? Hector? That's okay if you were, man. It's all right. Yeah.
What is with you, Bobby? You don't usually do that to people.
No, I'm cool. I think it's cool. Hector's in the house. We can have a rivalry. He can do the same thing. I like that Hector's here. I appreciate Hector's here. Hector, if you like any other sport, we talk about all sports on here, man. On FTSN, hit that like button and subscribe, man. More of that than the Miami fans. I haven't seen any Miami fans crying to the quarterback. I just want to win a Super Bowl. I haven't seen that yet, man. But it's all good. Bobby, are we fishing Jacksonville and Tampa this year? Anthony, I'm not sure. I don't know what you're asking there, brother. Are you saying we beaten Jacksonville? I think Jacksonville's will be a good game, but they're healthy. you know. But are we facing Jacksonville and Tampa this year? Maybe. I don't know. No, but you better believe that we Jets have a better chance of than the Dolphins. Better chance than the Dolphins. Really? Really? You think that? That's all right. You're a fan. That's okay. Just like we are, right? But you know, our quarterback's not hiding in a mountain somewhere and with a tinfoil hat and on Social Security already. I mean,
hey, I'm on Social Security.
You're right there with Aaron. With the third.
Hey, I'm pushing 60. All right.
That's all right. I'm just saying. No, it's all good. That's fine. Hector, are you a Mets or a Yankees fan for baseball?
Yankees.
We're gonna find out.
Yankees.
Hector. Actually, Hector might like this if Hector's still in there. Fish Tank, what do you have you said about the Jets this season though? What have you said so far? Don't you believe they're going to be the second best team in the East, right?
That's right. That's right. You better watch out. I'm not sleeping on the Jets, and I tried cautioning everybody. Everybody's like, okay, same thing as the Tennessee game. All right, folks, you better watch out for the Jets. They have a defense that's for real. And the one thing that can beat our team is a great defense. So, you want to talk about the game we should knock the snot out of somebody? It should be the Jets. But will we? I don't know.
I think Hector Cabrera's is Hank's burner account. Yeah, Hank, please. He said it. Hank has said that the Jets have a very strong chance to be number 2 in the East and could be a sneaky team. But here's the thing. He did not say number 1. He said number 2.
2.
So just wait and see the Finns fans talk about how we haven't won a playoff game. The best team in football. Who's the best team in football? The Jets?
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number 1.
There you go. But always fun, man. I appreciate Hector tuning in. I really do.
Bobby, it's time.
It is time. Guys.
It is time, my friend.
Don't forget, listen here. We have a weekend full of great fun content. Again, in regards to Dolphins content, at 2:00 Eastern time, Steve Malloy will be back on. He's going to be doing Real Talk Rants. Steve Malloy moved from New York. He has relocated full-time to South Florida. Who wouldn't? Who would want to stay in New York? I have no idea, but Stephen Ross doesn't. He's moved full-time to West Palm Beach. What does that mean for the Miami Dolphins? Steve Malloy will also talk about the season stat projections for the offense. Great show coming in at 1:00 Eastern or 2:00 Eastern on the Finns Talk Sports Network. At 8:00 Eastern, I will be back on tonight with Josh Kimmel for No Holds Barred. We're going to be doing our What If episode if WCW had survived and Eric Bischoff would have purchased it in that Big Bang. We're gonna fantasy book that card. If the WCW ended up doing that Big Bang pay-per-view, how we thought it could have played out, and obviously discuss all the latest happenings in the professional wrestling world. Tomorrow, I will be back on at 11:00 Eastern in the morning. I will be back for another No Holds Barred episode, but this time I will have a special guest, pro wrestler The Real Drago, the Big Red Russian Machine, will be on with me. I'm going to interview him. I'm excited about that. And then at 9:00 Eastern tomorrow night, I will be back on again for East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah with Alex Atia Chiska. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notifications bell, and join us later. Hector, if you like any of those, hit that subscribe button and join us later. Maybe we can have a more friendly talk about some other stuff. Fish Tank, any final thoughts before we close it out?
Yeah. I'm freaking tired, but guess what? Bobby?
What?
The party never ends with me. I just finished cleaning the bird feeder while we were on here.
I bet you did. Yeah, I bet you're ready to go again. Here we go. All right, guys.
Hey, I've had 3 hours. 3 hours in 24 isn't bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right,
I feel
y'all.
I feel like I'm a 20-year-old again.
We will see you guys in a little bit on Real Talk Rants with Steve Malloy. Join Steve for that. And then I will see you all tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, for another fun episode of No Holds Barred. Until then, Dolphin fans, like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up.
Fins up.